Can I just be cranky here at the top of the program? I don't know whether I'm cranky. I don't know whether I'm bumfuzzled, as Aunt Lola would say. I'm regusted, as the kingfish would say. I don't know what to or as Mama Cornette used to say, I just don't understand people. Can I elaborate, Brian, here at the top of the program? Maybe you can try to help me understand what's going on. Here are the and we have a lovely audience in the cult of Cornette. And I think that we've proven, and previous clinical studies have shown, as a matter of fact, some of the surveys that we've done, that our base fan base, as they say, is one of the more educated and the more high performing and high earning and high thinking, and they're all high. High.
Want to get high?
I can't come down ever since you came. But nevertheless, they're very level-headed people, the majority of the cult of Cornette. But as we've all said at one time or another, there's an SOB in every crowd. But what has happened in the last several days, I don't understand. I don't know if there's a moral to this story. I don't know if there's some type of conclusion to be drawn about crowd psychology. I don't know if there's a simile or a homily, or I just don't understand people. Everybody knows at this point, I believe that's safe to assume, that Hulk Hogan passed away last week as we're sitting here now, several days ago, not even a full week. And we did I don't know, it wasn't what did we do? It wasn't a tribute nor necessarily an obituary. It was a discussion of his life and career as we saw it on the last program you and I did. And that was controversial already, because literally as soon as the news was out, people were starting to tweet us, and they were starting to put comments on a YouTube and a blah, blah. You're not going to talk about Hogan? And some people were like, I can't wait to see them roast Hogan now that he's dead. Like we had somehow been concocting voodoo dolls and waving spells over them on a daily basis. If I had that power, I'd use it on somebody else and do the whole world a favor.
When have we ever waited until death to roast somebody?
Well, exactly. And they're more succulent when they're still alive. The meat's fresher. But nevertheless, I'm not trying to go down that path. Point is, some people say, oh, I can't wait to see him roast him. And some people are saying, oh, you're not going to talk about it? 3 hours later, as I mentioned on the program we just did, I was in the dentist chair and I was shot full of Novocaine and came home mid-Thursday afternoon with a fucking numb face and got this news. So I called you. I said, so we waited a respectful time until I could get my feeling back, and recorded the next day and rushed it out. And by that point, we had people screaming, I can't believe they're not going to talk about it. Like there were some kind of vultures who, for the sake of, oh, we'll get 50,000 more views if we talk about this dead person right now and scoop everybody. We're not that crass. Leave that to the crass people. We're higher crass than that. I always wanted to be high crass.
First crass.
First crass all the way, baby. But anyway, so then after they had supposed we were going to roast him, or I can't wait to see how they're going to defend him, there was that. And then, you're not going to talk about it like it was goddamn going to be something. We sit here on the anchor desk, and then we release the clip. And Brian, I don't know what it said. This is the point I'm going to make about human relations, human beings, the way that people cognitively assimilate information. We released this clip talking about the life and career of Hulk Hogan as we saw it, you and me. And it's had, well, it's probably by now we're sitting here past 600,000. It certainly will be by the time people hear this, views and thousands of comments, but they've all listened to the same clip. And there are people going, I can't believe that they actually took up for that no good son of a bitch. And there are people saying, you mean to tell me that they couldn't even be respectful to this man when he's dead now and they still have to trash him?
Yeah, we can't win.
And there are also people, I can't believe the mental gymnastics they went through to try to justify. It's the same fucking clip. It's the same fucking clip. What's the Again, your thoughts on what the fuck is the matter with people? Mama Cornette didn't ever say that.
I think most of the listeners, the majority, the vast majority, were probably in the same boat as you and I. You know, two people just discussing this major star beyond wrestling who just died and evaluating everything. We didn't take any sides in anything. But again, there are people who are so deep-seated on one side or another that they don't even want a discussion to be had. That's the sickness. It's like you can think what you want, believe what you want, not want to hear what you don't want to hear, but when you don't even want a discussion to take place. And again, it was on both sides. It was the people that thought, because we've had so much fun laughing at the conduct of Hulk Hogan. Remember, it was a few months ago, he called him Benjamin Shelton. I mean, that just happened.
Yes.
Of course we laughed at that. They thought because of the tone of those clips, we couldn't have an honest discussion about the biggest star in wrestling history. And then there are other people who thought, he's so awful and an admitted racist. How could you give that much time to him? You couldn't win. And I think we actually did a great job. And I think the conversation was similar probably to a lot of conversations a lot of fans were having around the country.
And there was an element of Trump botism also, I noticed, because as soon as he's associated with that subgenre of thinking, then everything else that's fine now. But I just, again, you know, and we encourage everybody, if you want to see for yourself or hear for yourself or decide for yourself or play with yourself while you're listening to it, it's on YouTube. And look at, if you don't even want to listen to the thing, read some of these fucking comments and tell me, how are these people listening to the same exact discussion and bringing away completely diverse viewpoints on the subject?
Yeah, I saw someone post, because they posted this in several videos. It was like such a deep thought, they had to share it across several videos.
Either share it or shit it if it's that deep.
Clearly, Brian's a Hulkamaniac. It was like, oh, that was your takeaway from the discussion we had there. All right, sure. And it meant a lot to you. You can't make everyone happy, but there are plenty of people, the vast majority of the audience were happy with the discussion, I think.
Well, yeah, but some people are they're just contrary, as Uncle Tommy used to say.
Yeah, they're quite contrary.